Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the melee weapon, the Ghoulsaw. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external factors that would increase weapon performance. That would be things like Warframes using abilities, pets putting statuses on enemies, things like that. I just test the weapon, built out by itself, and I let the viewer make their own intelligent conclusions about what would happen if you add those external things. So now the only difference when I do a melee video is that I do use one external, and that is a pet that primes for me. And it's just because on pretty much all melee builds, minus a few, you're going to be using a mod called Condition Overload, and Condition Overload requires you to be priming. And so just so I have consistent videos, consistent kill counts at the end of my videos, I use a pet to prime for me. That way it's, there's no human element to my priming. So, and to show a melee build without condition overload would be a little bit disingenuous because you're always going to be using it. So that's why I use that there. Okay, so I think let us get into the Ghoulsaw here. So the Ghoulsaw is a really cool looking weapon. It's a big old like tile cutter kind of saw. I gave it the DeWalt colors. No Ryobi up in here, straight up DeWalt. So let's get into the build here. So interesting things about the Ghoulsaw, not a lot. So it's got 100% follow through damage, which is like it doesn't lose damage the more targets it hits per attack. It's got a pretty crappy starting crit chance. It's got a pretty crappy starting crit multiplier. And it's got a really bad attack range. So the range without primed reach is 2.15. That's a really poor range for a slow, large weapon. You would expect it to be more than that. So okay, let's get into the build here. So we're going to be using primed reach to increase our range. This is very important for the Ghoulsaw because, like I said before, the Ghoulsaw has a really poor starting range. We're going to be using sacrificial steel for critical chance. We're going to be using voltaic strike to give us electric on our Ghoulsaw. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to the arcane because it's going to make sense why we're going electric. So we're going to be using for the arcane melee influence. So on a melee electricity status, there's a 20% chance for elemental melee status effects to apply to enemies within 20 meters for 18 seconds. So this is going to allow us to get electric all over the map for a bit. There are ways to make this even stronger. You can go with like gas and electric, like we do with a lot of our ranged builds. But it requires you to kind of make some concessions with getting rid of damage mods. So we're not going to go for the full combo wombo here. We're not going to go with like gas and electric. Even with just electric, it still does a lot of damage. I frequently used to use a arcane called melee exposure, and melee exposure is still extremely strong because melee exposure, it gives you corrosive. Corrosive is nice. Corrosive and viral are really good to have on weapons. So it gives you corrosive, and it makes it where you don't actually have to have element mods on your weapons, so you can have more damage mods. So melee exposure is still very strong, but in testing, melee influence actually still beats it out by a few kills. Like consistently, by about like 25-ish% kills. I didn't do crazy testing on both of these. I just did about like 3 runs each. But consistently, melee influence was always about 25-ish% kills more than melee exposure. And that's without crazy combo wombos. That's without like gas and electric. It's just electric. So that's why we're going to be going for melee influence here. Okay. The next slot here, we're going to have Gladiator Might for crit damage, and this is also going to give us a little bit more melee critical chance per combo multiplier, which is important because we're going to try to get our mediocre at best critical chance and critical multiplier up a bit. Condition Overload, of course, this gives us a gigantic amount of flat damage. Berserker Fury is going to increase our attack speed by 70% when it's at max stacks. And then in the last 2 slots, we're going for our stacks with combo multiplier mods. So this one is critical chance stacking with combo multiplier, and weeping wounds is status chance stacking with combo multiplier. So this weapon does have pretty decent slash values. So if you look here, the slash is a lot more than puncture and impact. So we did put electric on, but it's about the same value as slash. So you're going to get pretty equal slashes and electric. So you're going to get a lot of slash damage out of this as well. Okay, let's go up to the top. You don't have much of a choice as far as stances. You only have Butcher's Revelry as a stance. Opportunity's Reach is going to be for the Tennokai. This is absolutely the best one. You should not pick anything else for the Ghoulsaw, at least. For other weapons, there's other, better Tennokai mods. But for the Ghoulsaw, this is super good. So the heavy attack for the Ghoulsaw sticks you in one place. You kind of stick your little saw out, and it does damage. But it's very stationary. You're like glued into one place with it. Well, with Opportunity's Reach, this increases your range by another 3 meters. Then you have Primed Reach, increasing it by another 3 meters. So with Opportunity's Reach, anytime you go for a Tennokai attack, it's almost like you have a little... I know it's not a flamethrower, it's a saw, but you can kind of look at it as like an invisible flamethrower. It's shooting pretty far out, so you can kind of spin around and kill everything around you when you go for a Tennokai attack. So for the Ghoulsaw, this is extremely strong. Okay, I think that is pretty much everything for the build there. I do want to explain how to play the Ghoulsaw, because there are wrong ways and right ways to play it. So, and that's why I'm starting in the simulacrum here, just so I can show it. So let's show the forward light attack first. This is the one you should not be doing. So most of the time when you're using melee builds, most of the time the forward light is like the best attack and the one you're doing most of the time. So if I just go forward and I hold E, this is all it does. I mean, it does okay damage, but it's not really amazing. Now, the neutral light attack is not pressing forward, and I'm just going to hold E. This is okay. It's just that it's very slow and it's very static. I'm not actually moving forward very much with this. And if I try to move forward by pressing W, I go into that this thing right here. So the neutral light attack is just this right here. Okay, now I'm going to show you what you should be doing on the Ghoulsaw. So the Ghoulsaw, you should be block attacking. So it has 2 different block attacks. You hold the right click to do the block, and you're going to do the W and E. So it's just like you were doing a forward light, except you're holding the right click. So W and E. You actually ride the Ghoulsaw, and it ends in a slam. Okay, this is W and E. This is what you're going to be doing. And while you're riding the Ghoulsaw, actually any enemies you go through are going to take damage as well. So it's not just the slam. Okay. Now the other block attack is not holding W. It's holding block and then just pressing E. Or holding E. I guess you could hold it as well. It's a spin. And the second spin ends in a slam. So spin. And then second spin ending in a slam. And so you're going to mix both of the block attacks. You're going to be going into a group with this, and then you're going to be going for a spin. Then move to the next group, with a slam, and then going for a spin. And if you want to go for the second spin for more, slam, that's cool too. So that's the best way to be using the Ghoulsaw there. So let's go into gameplay next here. And we're going to show this off. Now, it seems very slow, and of course it is slow, but when we get our Berserker Fury up, it's going to be a little bit faster. So I'm going to be showing this off in a 10-minute MOT mission. I'm going to be switching the format for my gameplay into MOT. That way I have corrupted enemies. They're a little bit mixed. And we'll do our testing in MOT from now on. There is still issues with MOT, though, unfortunately. DE really needs to go and review corrupted, because some of them are attacking each other when they shouldn't be. And that affects spawns. So I would really love to test on Circulus, but on Circulus, the Dracs that come out of the Drac Masters aren't counted as corrupted, so they fight each other. And on MOT, they try to fight the little laser thingies. Alright. It's actually a pretty fun melee weapon. I don't think it's the best melee weapon. It's definitely more of like a meme weapon than it is a good weapon, but it's still kind of cool. So we'll do 10 minutes here. We'll show it off. We'll see how many kills we get at the end of 10 minutes. And that should be good for the Ghoulsaw. Whenever you get your Tennokai, you kind of want to spin around and get that little saw flamethrower going with the crazy range that you get on it. I think they're up top here. Yeah, they are. Do a little spin. Go to the next group. Bam. Do a little spin. Go to the next group. Bam. Do a little spin. It's like, you know, if you basically just hold your right click the whole time, because you're pretty much just going to be doing your block attacks. So just hold right click, and that's really it. Hold right click, and whenever you want to move, you press W with the attack, and whenever you want to spin, you let go of W. So it seems like, you know, there's a lot of like comboing and different stuff you got to do, but it's not really. You're just kind of going back and forth between two attacks that are the difference between pressing W and not pressing W, so it's not like super complicated. The Tennokai attack can also kind of be used to stop the charge forward. So like if you want to stop your charge, like maybe you don't want to go into the slam at the end, you can use your Tennokai attack to kind of cancel it out. I find that useful sometimes. Like sometimes I don't want to go through the weird slam animation at the end of the charge, and so I'll use my Tennokai to just kind of cancel it out. Yeah, you see these little like circles here? The corrupted dudes in Mott will actually try to fight them. And it's very annoying because just like on Lua, they get stuck in rooms fighting the stupid, whatever they're called, the traps. I think there's dudes up top. And I should probably put some armor and status immunity on. That's the only ability I'm going to be using. Everything else is just the Ghoulsaw. Well, and my little Dirija primer. I know I didn't show off my primer. I do have my Dirija build, though, up on the YouTubes. It's an extremely powerful melee priming build for the Dirija. Probably the best melee primer in the game. It's consistently 6 elements on dudes around you, and sometimes 7 or 8. I did my Tennokai and there was no one left alive. Oh yeah, and when the Acolyte comes out, try to save... Well, I don't know if you can really save your Tennokai, but if you can try to save a Tennokai for him, because it'll delete the Acolyte. Otherwise, this is kind of meh against the Acolyte. There's better... There's better melees out there. I actually spent my heavy attack on the Acolyte there instead of waiting for the Tennokai. That was kind of bad on my part. Alright, got 5 more minutes left, and then we'll see what our kill count is. I also tried to make a utility build that was basically using the Ghoulsaw as a K-drive. Like I put on all the attack speed mods to try to see if I could like actually make it like a viable transport in a map. And it moves very quickly, but it's not going to be as quick as just bullet jumping. So unfortunately, the movement in Ghoulsaw, other than being a meme, is not very useful. But I tried it. I was like, oh, I'm going to have like a second build where I put all the attack speed mods so it moves super quickly. I think, you know, if you've watched this gameplay for like these full 6 minutes, you kind of understand like the rotation of it, right? You just press W when you want to move, and then you let go of W and you do the little spin attack, and then, you know, find another group, go to it, spin attack, find another group, go to him, spin attack. I didn't need to spin there. There's no one there. I think there's some dudes up top here. Here we go. This is probably not the best melee weapon, but it's actually super fun. And the combo on it is it's not very hard. It looks complicated because I'm moving quick and then I'm spinning, all kinds of weird stuff. But it's not very hard to do this thing here. Your Tennokai attack is also really good at dealing with super heavy units. So if you have a Leech Eximus that's becoming like a little bit too tanky for you, you can just Tennokai into him. Same thing with like saving it for like the Acolyte, or I guess Vor here too. Let me see if I can get a Tennokai. I'll go over to him. Come on, Tennokai. Why aren't you bracking? Didn't really do too much against Vor. Maybe I wasn't aiming. Maybe I have to like aim at his tummy. That's how you hurt Vor. You gotta aim at his tummy. Angst. Come on, give me some Tennokai. I want to see what it does on him. He's going to die before I get a Tennokai attack up. Alright, 1 minute left. We'll see what our kill count is, and then that'll be it for the Ghoulsaw video here. A super fun weapon, though. I recommend getting it. I believe this is from the Bash Lab in the dojo, if I'm not mistaken. $15 seconds. Let's see if we can get our kill numbers up a little bit here. We'll get a higher kill count at the end. We'll be on the stairs here. Yeah, there you go. Got some guys on the stairs. These little stairway crawlers. Kill them. Got 5 more seconds. Ended them in the Tennokai, and that's it. All right. So 1,019 kills in 10 minutes. That's pretty good. Now, I'm switching the format to Mott, so I don't know what the average is going to be for Mott. Mott might be more than, like, in the past, we used to do our 10-minute kills on Kuva Survival and Lewis Circulus. So you know, as far as our kills, 1022 seems really good compared to Lewis Circulus and Kuva Survival, but you know, it's a completely different map. It's different enemies, different resistances. So, well, not necessarily against Circulus, but you know, different leveled enemies against Circulus. I am so lost here. There we go. It's a really fun weapon. I know it's a meme weapon, but you saw how well it was doing there. This is Steel Path. This is Steel Path. So, and you saw how well it was doing there. I'm not mixing it with any kind of crazy combos. You can make it even better with combos, but you can say that for any melee weapon, though. Any melee weapon will get better with better combos. But yeah, there's all kinds of externals that would make it better. You know, Roar and Valkyr's Warcry, all kinds of weird stuff. So yeah, that was the Ghoulsaw. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And if you have any suggestions, I still have a little list of suggestions to get through here. I have Opticore, Corfel, Paracesis, Eden. Someone wanted me to do a Protea build. I don't know that I have a... I think I might have a Protea build. I might be able to get that out somewhat soon. Maybe not this week. So, yeah, if you have any suggestions, just let me know. And that should be everything, guys. I hope you guys have a good day. All right, bye.